have the advantage of knowing what corners are coming up.
I don't know. I have no idea where I'm going, but this is a lot of fun still. You're insane third gear in third gear though.
This is the corner. Yeah, you got to.
You make a lot of time up. You make a lot of time up on that corner, huh?
Yeah.
Wow, that turbo sound is so good. I notice you go all the way out here.
Well, you know, you rent the whole track, you use it all, right?
Yeah. It's nice. I like it. It's just like, it's like that OEM Plus feel.
Well, that's exactly it. We wanted something that, you know, didn't change the nature of the car.
I can't actually see with this thing. Let me see.
Want me to? Okay.
Now
The goal was not to change its fundamental nature. It was just kind of like turn it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Miatas that no one talks about is that they make you look better than you really are. They just flatter you the entire time. Make you think you can do anything.
I love it. Wow. Okay. I like this thing a lot. It's just fun because being able to floor it for longer it's like satisfying, you know?
You know, not a lot of people get that, but yeah, full throttle's fun, so why not stretch it out for a while, right?
Exactly, exactly. What's up, guys? Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. Today we're at Flyin Miata, where they make Miatas fly. Hopefully not too far, just a little bit, just a little fly.
As long as it sticks the landing, it's all good.
Yeah. My buddy Keith is here, and he's been with the company for 19 years. You just live, breathe, and everything Miata. That's your thing.
It's an affliction. What can I say?
That's so cool. I love that. It's cool that you guys have taken this one car, right? So for me, everyone loves making fun of me for being a Z-car guy, you know, because the Z-car guys are the Z-car guys, and then the Miata guys are the Miata guys, right? You guys have your own thing. But the thing about the Miatas, the things that are the thing that Mazda says is no car gets tracked more every weekend than a Mazda Miata, right? That's the thing.
Miata is always the answer, right? It's just, it's right there in the name.
Miata is always the answer. And we have a really beautiful Miata here. You guys don't actually build show cars, but this thing looks like a show car to me.
Yeah, well, most of our cars are development cars. We're always taking them apart. We're always trying stuff on them because we're constantly doing R&D. And so trying to find a Flyin Miata car belonging to the shop that hasn't been disassembled is really difficult. So we said, you know what? We're going to build one that we can just show off, that shows off what we can do. It's just a really nice early Miata.
Okay, early. You say early. We actually had a chance to feature your ND LS3 car, and I think that, honestly, that is, you want to talk about clean, that's a clean car. That is so clean, and it's so stock looking, and it sounds amazing. But this, you were saying, this is potentially something, I guess you wanted to make an old school Mazdaspeed Miata, right?
Yeah.
So this, like, okay, my favorite Miata is the Mazdaspeed Miata. That's the NB?
It's an NB.
Okay, so that's an NB, but they never came with an NA Mazdaspeed Miata.
They didn't. The Mazdaspeed was very short-lived. They only made it for about a year and a half. And so this is basically, it's a refinement of all the things that made a Miata really good. You know, all the stuff, this could have been introduced back in 1990. We just took it and optimized it. We didn't try to change its character. We didn't give it, you know, a hard ride or an enormous engine or or change what it was fundamentally. We just tried to turn everything up a little bit to 11, just to make it a little more of what it already was.
Well, essentially, I think this one's the best one because A, it's the lightest, and B, it has pop-up headlights. So you can transform the way the car looks just with a switch, and I think that's awesome.
You can go from cool to derpy and back again in no time flat.
Exactly. So let's check out the motor on this thing.
So the car is a 1995. It actually belonged to the father of one of the owners of Flyin Miata, and he passed away and he left it to us. And so the car was just sitting around, wasn't doing anything. So that's why we call the car Captain Bob as a tribute to him. And it is basically, this is a car that you could build at home. These are all just off-the-shelf catalog parts. This is one of our Stage 1 turbo systems, California legal. In this application, it makes about 180 horsepower at the wheels.
Thank you so much for thinking of us in California Island, right? Basically, we're like separate from the U.S. in terms of tuning.
We have California legal turbos from 1990 to 2005 and from 2016 to 18.
So 180, that's essentially what, 80 more horsepower than stock?
Yeah, roughly this car was about 100 at the wheels when it was stock. 80% more?
Yeah, that just makes it so much better. I mean, because how much did the Mazdaspeed make?
It made about 150 at the wheels.
Really?
So this is more motor than you got in a Mazdaspeed, and this particular turbo builds boosts sooner. So this is actually a more responsive engine than it was in the Mazdaspeed, and it's a lighter car.
So the kit actually is the manifold and the turbo and all of this right here.
Oh, and the intercooler and the engine management. It's a complete kit. You know, it's got everything you need. The turbo is a GT 2560R Garrett. It's a very nice match to this 1.0-liter engine. It's got good response. It's got more power potential than we're using right now. If you decide to bypass the emissions legality, shall we say, and install a Mega Squirt or something else, this combination is good for about 240 at the wheels with a lifespan measured in decades.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's a solid. We have a customer who has over 500,000 miles on his.
Incredible. I mean, because that's kind of the thing, is having a 1,000,000-mile Miata. There's a bunch of them out there, right?
I don't know how many of them actually hit 1 million, but his is a legitimate 500,000-mile car, and it actually wins awards at car shows. It's beautifully clean. But it's been turbocharged since Milli Vanilli was on the charts.
I like that. Does it come with the ECU with this kit then?
It does. It comes with what we call a voodoo box, which handles the extra fuel needs required for the turbocharger. We're working on an ignition box as well. We just got the approval from the California ARB to add that to the kit as well. But yeah, it comes with basically everything you need, short of potentially a clutch and any cooling upgrade you might want to do. But everything involved in the actual power production comes with the kit. And it's just over $3,800.
Well, that just makes so much sense for modernizing this kind of car. I mean, while I've driven quite a few Miatas, and while I love the fact that you can literally foot to the floor everywhere all the time, nonstop, and then you turn and you look over and it's a Toyota Camry and the guy's just going the same speed as you,
Sipping his latte, yeah.
while you're like, oh, you're driving as fast as you can, and the other guy is driving normal, but you're having a lot more fun. That's the difference.
Well, that's the whole point of these cars, right? There's always going to be somebody faster. So you might as well have more fun than anybody else, which is our goal.
All right, so tell me about the wheel and tire combo on this.
We use a couple of different wheel tires on this thing. It's running the PF1s right now.
Yeah,
so that's an
Enkeis.
Enki PF01.
Oh, we love Enkeis.
It's not a wheel you see on Miatas very often for some reason. You see them on the NCs, the later generations, but on the NAs you don't see this wheel. So we decided to run it. We do have some sparkles that we run on it as well, and some different ones. This car does change wheels fairly regularly. And it's got what we call our little big brake kit, which is like a big brake kit but uses stock rotors. We put a Willwood caliper on the stock rotors. It's very light. It's a nice stiff caliper, so you've got great pedal feel, very easy pad changes. Very popular autocross setup because of the weight. And it's good for light track use, but this isn't a track car. So even though we had it on the track earlier today.
Yeah, this is a street car. That's why you have Yokohama street tires on it.
Yeah, the Flava Flav, the Advan
Flava Flav.
in a massive 205 5015. And the suspension is also it's a performance street suspension. You know, it's our It's our stage 2.5 kit, we call it. It's sway bars, it's Coney shocks, it's our own springs. And the goal is a comfortable all-day setup that can be driven to the track, on the track. So, a typical use case for around here, we're a long way away from any big tracks. We'll drive this thing across a couple of mountain passes, we'll run it on the track for a day, and then you drive home again, and it's a suspension that can do all of that.
Wow, you guys even made this?
Yeah.
Why is that? Is this a light hood or something?
It is. It's aluminum.
Oh, okay.
They're all aluminum. But it gets rid of the hood prop. It opens it up a little bit further. This is like a guilty pleasure, having these kind of hydraulic hood lifts. It's one of those things that you think it's goofy, but as soon as you do it, it's like, it's so open, there's so much room.
Yeah, and it doesn't, it's not adds any weight or anything. It doesn't add any weight.
Yeah, it doesn't weigh anything.
Yeah. Okay.
We had a lot of fun with the interior in this car too.
Yeah, so that's kind of the highlight of this car. And that's the first thing that I really noticed when I sat in it. There's just so many little things about the interior that stand out. Tell me what you guys did on this thing.
Well, I've been driving Miatas myself, for 20. Anyway, my first one was in 1990. It was still under warranty when I bought it, so we'll just put it like that. And it means I've been driving to work every day and looking at these things and just coming up with ideas. And this is all of those ideas sort of put into effect. It's an early dash. It's a 1.6 dash. It wasn't in a 95. This is out of a 1990. And we added this crash pad, this suede crash pad all the way around to sort of highlight the fact that Mazda put this bar through here, but it always kind of disappears. And it sort of lightens up the interior a little bit. It's matched by suede on the inside of these seats, and these seats are out of a 2003.
Oh, wow. And it just bolts in? Or?
They bolt right in, yeah. They've got a higher back on them, but also the tan color is a nicer tan. It's what they call it, parchment, as opposed to the more butterscotch color that this car had originally. The carpet also is out of a 2003. And so we did that to sort of lighten up the interior and give it something a little bit of a different look. And the seats have also we took the covers off and reshaped the foam. So they're very comfortable. They have more lateral support than they did from the factory. They're a little bit deeper. They hold you in place better, and the suede holds you in place too.
So is this something that you guys just did for this just for a one-off, or is this something that, I don't know, is this something?
The interior of this car is one-off, basically.
Okay.
You could do it yourself.
This is just because you guys wanted to build something this nice.
We wanted to build something that got people's attention, that people would look at and say, hey, that's a nice looking Miata. What's going on over there? So all sorts of little touches. We picked up this is no stereo. There's a Bluetooth receiver.
I didn't even notice that.
That's it, because stereos date a car really badly, right?
Right, that's the electronics.
Oh, they don't age well at all.
No.
And so this car is meant to be sort of out of time. It's not meant to be, an old British Roadster or JDM of 1990 or anything like that. So it's actually got a Bluetooth receiver hidden behind it. There's an amp behind there. And this is a Bluetooth receiver that's controlled completely by this knob. So you can change tracks and bump the volume and everything.
Wait, this car still has AC?
Of course.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it's 100 degrees out here today. How would we not have AC? So we went to stack for these gauges and then decided to match those gauges back here. Our friends
The gauges are my favorite part because it looks OEM.
Yeah, our friend Adam at Rev Limiter does amazing work with custom gauges, and he designed those gauge faces to our specifications. So they look like the stacks. We twisted the tachometer so that the red line is at the top, which is an old school racing thing. Mm-hmm. Just a nice little nod to the way race cars used to work.
But, because you guys updated it, is it the same red line now? Or?
It is, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's still a 7,200 RPM red line, which is...
That's a high reveling turbo motor, then.
That's okay, yeah.
And tell me about the wheel.
The wheel is a Momo Prototipo with a custom horn button, again, from our friend Adam at Rev Limiter. He matched the color of the exterior, and it's got this beautiful glow in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Even the rings around the gauges here were all chosen. These are from a shop in Poland. They're hard to find when they're this thin. We added extra gauges rings around the gauges in here. There's a lot of little touches that you may not realize. The idea is to make it all look cohesive, make it look like it came from the factory this way. But if you're a Miata nerd who has spent a lot of time with this, you look at it and you go, hang on a second, those are different.
Yeah, so this is...
It's an alternative.
This is so cool. I love this so much. So this might not be good to mention, but my introduction to Miatas is from our friend Danny George. All right, so...
Danny goes a different direction.
Yeah, Danny goes a different direction. He had the foot-long Miata, which honestly I think is probably still my favorite Miata of all time.
It's got one of these turbo kits.
Yeah, it has one of those turbo kits. And it's just so weird. It's just a funny looking thing, you know. It's just an extended Miata, and we had a chance to shoot it in Las Vegas, and I was riding in the back, and Danny, of course, being the drifter, he pitches sideways, and I felt like we probably felt more of it. We felt more of the sideways because we're sitting back here.
Oh yeah.
You know. So with that turbo kit, and I think that one is pretty pumped up too. I think that one it was making the 240.
He's making about 240. Yeah.
Yeah, and.
And Danny's not afraid of it.
No, he's not. He's not. He's foot to the floor all the time. But yeah, with that said, it's kind of refreshing to see something like this. And I could totally see this being like the ultra premium one that you would get from Mazda if this existed back then.
Yeah, you know, if this could have been the Mazdaspeed of 1995, you know, 10 years before it actually showed up. Or maybe it was a premium edition, who knows. Our goal was just to make a car that was just a little more Miata without being something different.
I like that. You have a couple other cars here that are very crazy looking. Can we just touch on some of them a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well, this blue one is my personal street car, and it's still in the snow tires. But this is actually the model for what we did with Bob. It's got slightly more horsepower, slightly different engine setup. But it's got a similar interior, only it's done with Smith's gauges. Probably can't see it very well.
Wait, so each one of these has a name?
They all have names.
Yeah. Okay, so this is
actually just called the Smurf usually.
Okay,
Smurf. Or Turbo Smurf.
Well, I know why.
Yeah.
That's Bob.
It's Captain Bob, that's Indy.
That's Indy.
That
makes sense. Indy, I get it. Indy.
We also have Andy. We have Indy and Andy,
Andy.
the NDs.
Okay, all right.
And we have Nancy, the NC. So yeah, this one was sort of the prototype for what we did with Captain Bob. It's got Smith-style gauges. It's got, you know, the radio delete, that same sort of thing. And Bob was his chance to take it further.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted because I
there's
looked
engines,
over
yeah.
here. There's like motors, there's rear ends, drive shafts. Like
that's the steering rack.
This
off
is
an
somebody.
ND. Look at the electric motor on this puppy.
This is seriously somebody's dream. Just a Miata guy's dream to come here and just pick parts.
And we've cleaned it out too. You'd not believe.
Yeah.
That is an 18-mile engine for an ND. Car was shipped to us. It burned 1 gallon of gas before it was taken out of the car and replaced with a V8, a 575 horsepower Lingenfelter LS3. Nuts.
All right, so this is your personal car.
That's one of mine. Yeah, that's mine. One of mine. I've got 4. This one is a car. It's a 1995 M edition. We bought this one new. So Flyin Miata has owned this car for 25 years, and it has been a development car that entire time. It's been supercharged, it's been turbocharged, it's been naturally aspirated, it's been turbocharged again, supercharged again. It's been used for so many science experiments that we actually had to replace the wiring harness because we spliced it so many times that it was becoming unreliable.
There was like no material left.
It was just splice on splice, yeah. Currently, it is running a stroker. It's a 2-liter. It's got a turbo about the size of your head.
Oh, can I take a look at it? I want to see this.
It's a solid 400 horsepower on E85.
You can't tell. Oh.
And it's daily driven.
Oh, sir.
Because, you know. And as you can see, like I said, it's daily driven. This is not a show car. This is
not at all.
This is a car that gets driven to work.
I like this though. I can't believe it. E85.
Yep. E85, and it's proper flex fuel, so it runs whatever you put in the tank, and it adjusts its power level accordingly, boost and ignition timing and everything. So it's monitoring the actual ethanol content constantly.
Man, the mad scientist over here, tinkering away nonstop.
This is what we do.
All
this
right.
is Igor. This was actually a salvage car when we were doing salvage stuff as well as tuning cars that came to us, and it was too good to kill, and we turned it into basically a predecessor to Bob. It was a ride-along platform. It was a platform that we used to take people on track rides and to abuse parts, and basically it was a rolling test bed as well as being a thrill ride for customers.
So tell me about this.
This is Nancy. This was our first NC development car. It was actually a Mazda press car. It was a 2006, and it actually raced in the Track of Newfoundland in 2011.
Okay.
And that's when it got the nose update.
I didn't ask you about this yet, though, but what does Mazda, first of all, what does Mazda think?
They don't work too closely with the aftermarket. We have a good relationship with Mazda, They don't officially approve of most of what we do, but they certainly don't shun us, and we have a lot of good friends inside Mazda. So we don't have an official relationship with them, but we do have a good personal relationship with a lot of people. This is the newest member of the fleet. This is Jones. So our NDs are called Indy Andy Jones. Wah, wah.
Oh,
yeah, so cute. This is one of the 2019s. This has got the new higher red line as the 181 horsepower engine. Mazda basically took the ND and just sort of upped it. And this is probably the first one that made it into private hands. This is a situation where having connections at Mazda really did help. We really wanted to get our hands on this car early, and so I picked it up at least a week before anybody else, I think, had one of these things. So we worked with a local dealer, and they were Mazda was very, very helpful in getting us this car so we could start our R&D on this platform as soon as possible. This is a very popular car at Flyin Miata.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, if you guys want to follow more of what these guys do, definitely follow them on YouTube. You guys essentially are a miniature manufacturer in a way. I mean, you guys are a miniature manufacturer, but the fact that you actually go out of your way to test your parts at racetracks, at historic racetracks like Laguna Seca, that's really, really cool to hear.
We do a lot of R&D. I think something like a quarter of our catalog is stuff that we developed in-house. We do our own suspension tuning, all of our suspension. Our turbo kits are all completely in-house. The exhaust systems, even things like this, these frame rail braces that go along here. And there's another thing called a butterfly that closes the box in here. That's all developed in-house. We strapped a car to this lift and bolted it to the floor. There's tie-down points over here, and actually physically twisted the car to measure exactly how much difference we were seeing. So that's the sort of thing that we'll do, is we'll bolt the car to the lift for a month and twist it and modify it and twist it and modify it, so we can come up with a good bolt-on brace that will reinforce all the Miatas.
Because the point is that these cars are getting older and older, and how many people are making new parts for these cars? It's really cool that you guys are still supporting these chassis.
It's funny, we've got a demographic that ranges all the way from high school kids with their first $1,500 car that they sticker bombed because the paint's peeling off, to guys who are buying brand new NDs and then having V8s put in them. So, some of our customers have Miatas worth $1,500, some of our customers have Miatas worth $85,000. And it's a big range. It means a lot of work for R&D because there's 4 distinct platforms that we're having to work on all the time, but that's fun.
Thank you so much for letting me hoon around in your cars. This was a lot of fun. It had a lot of fun turbo noises, but honestly, that one just stole my heart. Like, that thing is so cool. I love that.
Indy's an easy car to love, yeah. And Bob is just, we parked it with, these are the two that tend to go to shows. When you go to Monterey Car Week, we park these two side by side and everybody pulls to one or the other.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, this one was fun because of the street tires.
Yeah, it talks the entire time. It kind of moves around.
Because it moves around a little bit, that's what made it fun.
Brakes are a little cool.
Nice. It's like an autocross.
It basically is a permanent autocross.
I love it. Oh my God. This thing is rowdy.
Odd place to park a car?
Yeah. Amazing.
hundreds of laps I have here.
Really?
Oh,
That is awesome.
this is our R&D area, so.
Oh, cool. Wow. This is crazy.
How many laps you want?
No, that's good. That's good. I was good with one, but I was just enjoying the ride. Awesome.